bringing our power supply into the 21st century. Only the most rural houses in the UK still have overhead power lines, and ours was one of them. Not only was this a hazard whenever high-top vans drove in, but we also had a pylon in the middle of the garden, which is no good for future plans. It had been there since 1954 and had become completely hollow in the top. We did check for nests, by the way. To reroute the supply underground meant getting in touch with UK Power Networks, who very helpfully gave us this short and simple set of parameters to which we had to adhere. It was November when Tim, and I'll be honest, he did most of this himself, started digging. Paying the utility company to do this would have cost us £12,000, but we could save most of this by laying the conduit, installing a GRP box, and then getting the professionals to connect it all up at the end. So they would run the cable down the pole to a box we installed just here. We had to make sure the conduit to the house was at least 60 centimetres deep, on shingle, and with a yellow warning tape placed over the top, just in case anyone dug down to it in the future. Tim then dug the channel the rest of the way under the patio and up to the house, where it would eventually go up the wall and into the crawl space. Next was building the correct spec base for the GRP box. Tim had done patios before, but this was his first time with a proper concrete mixer, and it worked. We put Dusty in doggy prison so he didn't get covered in it. He was most displeased. This is the frame for the base, which had to be 200mm high to allow for the 50mm concrete sub-base, 1200 gauge stamp-proof membrane, and 150mm concrete on top with 25mm chamfered edge. Concrete strength had to be C28/35. We also needed right-angled Rigiduct eNuts 12 to 24 spec, which as far as I can tell means it's tough plastic and you can poke big cables through it. After layering it all up and leaving it to set, the final thing looked like this. It was ready for the box, but we had to pull the cable. That's our electrician feeding it, and here is Tim pulling the other end. We'd already run a pulling string through the conduit by using a vacuum cleaner and a poo bag, so it was the culmination of many hours of work when the cable finally came through the other end. We went for extra wide so that we can do charging or solar or whatever in the future. And then it was time for UK Power Networks to do their thing. They got the cherry picker in the corner, pulled down the cable and chopped up the old pylon with a knife. And so it's gone. And we have a bit more garden, plus a fabulous new box. Or is it a shed?